Looks like it's a bit cooler as well in South Africa than it was in
It's
Europe.
very much cool. When we arrived at home, it was 12 minus 2.
Wow.
Oh,
True.
Yeah.
you should have stayed in Europe. There you go.
I felt like that too from the weather.
Yeah.
Welcome, Peter.
Welcome back to South Africa, brother.
Thank you. Remember to bring something warm when you come to South Africa in July.
Okay.
It's not always.
Congratulations on South Africa's victory in the Cricket World Cup final.
Thank you. Thank you. I do think we deserve that one.
I just had a message from Augustine. He wasn't sure if there was a meeting on today. So he just asked 2 minutes ago if it was on. So I've just told him it is.
Did
Okay, you told him it's
he not
on
get the
now.
papers, Josh?
Say again?
Did he not get the papers?
I don't know. He's traveling, so I don't know how good his connections are. He didn't say either way, so I don't know.
I hope you haven't missed him out. Let's check.
Daniel coming.
But
Hi,
now
Edwin.
Daniel's note taker is off. Welcome, Edward.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, Edwin. Hi.
I think we're all on now except for the director and the old director, Augustine and Prof. Park. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, there's Augustine.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I'm around. Sorry, I'm
You're
at the
around.
airport.
Welcome. Welcome.
there?
Thank you. I'm at the airport, just waiting for my connecting flight to Durban. I landed a half an hour ago from Uganda, the medical outreach in northern Uganda. So when you don't hear me, meaning I'm sitting on a plane, it's due to leave in 35-minute time.
Okay, but you're not boarded yet.
No, not yet.
Okay.
I've only checked in, but waiting to board.
Right, good. Then I think we are all here except for Prof. Park. So I think let us start. Han, can I ask you to open in prayer for us?
Okay.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much for that prayer. I think let us start by just going through the agenda. And on my situation, point 3 is the previous minutes. we have well, no, before we get to that, sorry, I'd like to say thank you very much for sending in the documents early and the forms early. It was really good to be able to read and prepare well for the meeting. I appreciate that greatly. We have the minutes of our last meeting of the 12th of May in front of us. Can I hold them up to you and ask if there is any comment to those draft minutes of the 12th of May? I'm not sure. Yeah, anybody's got any comments? Peter's just putting them on the screen. Thanks. That was the meeting on the 12th of May.
Is Dai Young invited to today's meeting, as mentioned in 4.4?
Yes.
Yes, he was invited and he got the papers as well.
Any other comments to the minutes? Are we happy with the minutes? I'm not seeing your reaction. You happy? Thank you, Edwin. Thank you. Good. Can I just then go to that summary? Oops. Sorry, I have to. Oh, no. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, my screen is dark and I'm not sure why. I can't see anything now.
Oh.
Can hear you fine.
See and hear me fine. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if my computer is giving me a bit of trouble. Let's just go through the summary. To give regular updates on how many exhibition booths have been booked. We've got the updates. So there has been action. We can talk about that. To produce a spreadsheet showing the cash flow projections, that has been done. We'll discuss that just now. To finalize the empty slots in the program, that's ongoing and we're busy with that. The new items to prepare the paper showing the different roles and responsibilities, which is also for discussion today. We've got that. Update speakers spreadsheet, that has been done and we can continue just looking at that. To connect Josh with Godsend for the connections of booking forms. Josh, I just want to have a quick one. Did we progress on that?
Yes, we did. I did it immediately after the last meeting, actually. Yeah, connecting.
Okay, great. To promote the Congress regularly via email, field workers, and social media. That has also been activated. To begin inviting exhibitors and sponsors. That has also been activated. To send the local tour company options. We've also got better options there, or multiple options there. And to prepare a document for the bank to send to Peter and Josh for approval. I'm not sure. There's the one document that I have a question about. It might be that particular document. So I do think that we've certainly been able to progress on those scores, but I think let us talk to them while we cover them in the agenda. Good. Sorry, no, I'm not. There it is. Okay. So we've accepted the minutes. We also have 3.2. We have the minutes of the NOC that were given to us from the 18th of May and the 8th of June. Are there any questions to those minutes? Thank you for having them out. Any questions at this stage to those minutes? If not, there's one that about the accommodation, but I'll mention it when we talk about accommodation. Good. And then the other one was of the 8th of June. Okay. Anything that needed to be raised there? Doesn't seem like it, so we will then move on to...
Mr. Chairman, sorry, Mr. Chairman, I've just highlighted a couple of issues that were raised. We could pick them up on the agenda when they come later.
Yes, yeah.
The promotion, whether we should be promoting to nursing students and Korean medicine students is one question. And the other one was Catholic speakers as well.
Yeah.
I think those are both relevant to promotion and to program committee decisions.
Yeah, will you tag them at the right time then?
Yeah.
Good. So we've mentioned the matters arising from the minutes. They are all covered in the points below. So then let's go to 5.1. And here, if there is a NOC report. I'm not sure. Joseph, will you give that, or should we? Did you expect Dr. Is it Park to give it? Prof. Park.
Okay. I sent my material, but then it was big, so not transferable, and so I made it in the small one. So let me have and share in the screen. So can you see?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So most of my the slide and already we sent, but in the you can see and currently and 23 NOC members working together now. Recently, CEO and President KCMF joined, and one medical student and one junior doctor joined in our NOC members. So making overall average age very young than before. Yeah? So I'd like to introduce in the financial some committee is Dr. Lee and he's a representative of this committee. He became a treasurer. He accepted his position, so he will keep in touch with the headquarters of the CIO, etc. And then this is the promotion and student and junior committee. You can see many doctors, 5 doctors, student, junior doctors. And this is the ID committee. And then it's another committee in the tour publishment room allocation committee and the service and the music committee. and the important thing, and the booth and fundraising committee, 7 members, including Dr. Kang, and the program committee, Representative Tae-young Lee. So I'd like to introduce in the three and the basic bank account. Already first in the dollar and the Korean won, already I introduced a couple of months ago. And nowadays I needed to new one. So this previous one is just registration for registration form, and some or income for the income. This two account. One is the Korean won, another one dollar only, and this another new one to become. We are using this account and supply from the dollar and Korean won, and then this is the acting. Performing preparation of the 2026 ICM Day in your future. Okay, so I'd like to introduce this is in the dollar account. Recently, May 19, we received 50,000 US dollar officially via this, and then 10,000 US dollar transferred to another Korean won account. So you can see in the spreadsheet in the US dollar account, and this is the primary Korean won dollar. It's actually at the KCM Day and borrow 5 million won. So so far we used this money for the and Jeju Island business 4 times, and then another so far, and then this is the spreadsheet since last year August 12, and then for the first time in the deposit from Kim and myself, and then we are using 4 times Jeju business study. And then recently in the May 20, the dollar account 10,000 seed loan and the transfer to this account, and then so refund to myself 5 million, and then got sent down payment. After then balanced almost 9.4 million won, and this balance deposit and transfer to Korean bank account 1. Nowadays is 0. This account will be received in the chiefly in the registration from Korean won for Korean people. You understand? Okay. After then, the new account has already transferred to this same amount last May 21. So we'll use this money to next to Jeju Island business study. Okay. So it is the spreadsheet. So you can see 3 different spreadsheet among and actual and current money flow. You can understand. Okay. So I'd like to introduce this is the MOU between the previous document, but then I find out in the some date is some fault. So and I ask and change 2026. So I had a new one. So I used this new MOU document for the processing of the Korean Bank of Korea. So they accepted 50,000 US dollar and in the seed loan from ICMD headquarters. So nowadays we can use the 50 US dollar at this moment. So at the time they also asked, and they are between the two organization, and they need to service agreement. The 2020 ICMD World Congress schedule in South Korea. But at that time, at the no signature, I didn't this document. So I didn't submit this document. But anyway, in the previous this one, they accepted in the Korea Bank. So I'm not sure, but we need to more in the document if we need to receive registration fee from ICMD. So I'm not sure at this moment. So we need to study more. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions to that? So if I understand it, there was a Korean account, and there's another Korean account in US dollars, and then what happened is some money from the US dollar account was put into account number 2 in Korea, and then transferred into account number 1 that has been used. So that's how I understand it. But let's just make sure that I understand it correctly. Augustine?
Yes, mine is just a few things, because as I'm about to sit on a plane, so I could disconnect anytime, but I don't know when. But I'm almost on a plane. I'm walking inside. The two comments. The first one is related to the last report of the account. I think we need to have a flow that can work out through this easily, so that we don't forget and can track all the expenses and the transactions. We do have Excel that we use in Arusha that I can share with the local committee, so they can. I think the template is very clear and straightforward. I think that will be better for the next meeting, should we go forward. It's just a little bit of adaptation, but that will work very, very fine if the local guys are interested. Instead of presenting that, because I tend to lose concentration with the way it was presented. But if it was in an Excel format, that would have helped in tracking, and we could have even engaged with it before this meeting. So that's my first comment. The second comment.
Go ahead.
The second comment is with regard to the date of registration, the moving forward with what you call the early bird registration. I know in the email it says we have moved it to 31st of January. My piece of advice would have been, to be fair to everyone, to move it rather to 28th of February. And that will be fair to everyone, whoever wanted to apply, and by then we will know and allocated the bursaries to everybody, so that the people who have are paying for themselves are not being penalized as compared to what we did in Arusha, whereby the people who paid early, they were kind of penalized.
Okay, thank you very much, Augustine. I think your first point has been taken care of.
I think we have made good progress, and we are in the right place, and I'm actually enjoying this than what we had, the challenge that we had previously. Thank you.
Thank you. I think there's a bit of a problem with the connection, but I do think your first point is taken care of in the sense that there are Excel spreadsheets available that have been sent and they are in the package. But I just want to make sure we understand the principle. Then your second point, I think, is taken, but we will discuss that just now. Peter, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to come back to Augustine's first point. His first point was that in addition to these three spreadsheets, which show bank account entries, we need a cash flow Excel spreadsheet like we had last time in Arusha, because it will bring much more clarity to us as a steering committee following. And I think that we do need that. We haven't got it yet. Augustine has offered to give it to the NOC, and I think that's a very, very good idea that they can then adapt. So just to come back on that, the three bank accounts, I hope it makes sense to everyone. Just to summarize, at risk of repeating things, first of all, the $50,000 priming money has been given to the NOC, and 10,000 of that has been transferred from the USD bank account into their main account and transferred into, and now some of that has been spent. Now, before we made that transfer, Joseph very generously put in $5,000 to prime the account, and that has now been repaid to Joseph. And so there's another $40,000 sitting in the USD account, and we will, and the NOC will transfer that over to the Korean account as they require it. The issue about a service agreement, I'm assuming, is going to come up a little bit later in the agenda, Hannes, under 5.3.3. So I won't comment on it now, but I'll give some feedback to it.
Yeah,
but I hope the really key issue is that we need a proper cash flow Excel spreadsheet like we had in Arusha, and Augustine can pass that on. I think Augustine's comments regarding the bursaries, there is an internal discussion that has been going on between Hyunmi, myself, and Augustine, and Augustine has not seen the most recent email on that, and has not seen any of the papers for this meeting for some reason. I think it's because he's been traveling in Uganda and has had not good internet connection. So I think we should, see his comments in the light of that. Thanks.
Good. Thank you very much for those comments. And in the meantime, welcome, Professor Park. Nice for you to join us. We are just discussing the agenda point 5.1. And I just want to come back to Howard's comment. Howard, you made a comment as treasurer. It would be very helpful to have a one-page summary within 10 days of each month end showing. And then you mentioned the things that you think should be mentioned every month. Is that right?
Yes, please, if that's possible.
Is that possible to for the NOC to incorporate it in that way in the reporting?
Yep.
Thank you.
Possible. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. Okay, let's move on to the point 5.2, governance. There are some documents that I think speak to, no, that's the service agreement. Where is it? There, 5.2.1. Can we just have a look at that document?
I'll put that up just a second.
Yeah. I assume that this document speaks to the roles and responsibilities. So let us just discuss that. Are we happy with what has been set out in this document in terms of roles and responsibilities? Any comments to this?
Can I make a comment, please, Chair?
Yes, Howard, and then Peter.
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for doing this. I think it's really helpful. One area that I felt needed to be strengthened in this, and again, is speaking as treasurer, is a bit more focus on the financial supervision. I was pleased to see the finance committee that's been formed, and I am sure they will be taking a very strong position of oversight on the finances and that monthly report that I mentioned. But I would like to see more mention of finance responsibility and where that lies, presumably with the NOC, but also to see the Congress director have a role in that as well, in terms of monitoring the number of registrations, monitoring the number of sponsors and exhibitors that have been signed up, and playing a proactive role in that. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much, Howard. Peter?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, it was very helpful to see this document and also to see the way in which the governance has developed with the formation of these other committees since we last met, that Joseph has gone through and shown us already. And it's great to see those itemized under the NOC, and also helpful to see the AFF tasks, what they're currently responsible for going forward, and to see the amount of work in that sphere. So participant registration, volunteer management, event operations, it's wonderful that group is set up. With regard to the Congress director role, there are two issues mentioned here: liaison between the NOC, AFF, and also external, so summarizing the NOC meeting, delivering requests. So it's communication both ways, from the NOC to the WCSC, and from the WCSC in terms of what the requirements are, and then external promotion of the conference. I think those are important things, but I think that the role of the Congress director should be more than that. And at the moment, we have the NOC collectively responsible, but I think, just to emphasize what Howard has just said, as well as making sure that the NOC fully understand what the WCSC is asking, the Congress director should also be responsible for ensuring that those things are carried out by the various committees. So it's more than just a liaison role, it's also a supervisory role, and then being able to communicate it back to the committee. So that I'd like to see that role beefed up, just perhaps with a third point to ensure that the NOC carries out the instructions of the WCSC and to communicate and to ensure that this is communicated clearly back to the WCSC. So that it's not just a liaison role, but actually a proper director role. That as we would say in English, the buck stops with the Congress director, so that we're in no doubt about who is responsible for each thing. So in a sense, it's ensuring that the leaders of the various committees and the NOC have ticked all the boxes that we've asked for. I hope that's clear.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, so I am driving, but I am on my hands-free, so I am able to talk. Thank you very much for accepting me, even though I'm a bit late. I'm just moving from one meeting to another. So I will be in front of a computer in the next 10-15 minutes, so I will be able to join you fully. But in the meantime, I'm just going to respond to the last comment, which I understand how the Congress director's role it should be as important as that is. But the thing is that so far, until this point, we have had Joseph doing all that role. It's just that because the communication, obviously the language barrier to a certain point was there, I was introduced into this group to be that liaison in the middle for communication purposes. But all the organization and making sure that all the different parts of all the different arms of this Congress were working and towards the same goal was all done by Joseph. And I don't wonder if me stepping onto his toes is the right thing to do. I am very happy to be helper, but I'm wondering whether that will be the right thing to do. I'm just querying this situation for us to discuss. Because I am being introduced to this, I am being put into this role with just under a year to go, but all the preparations have already been done by somebody else who has been much more involved than I have, but obviously that we're trying to move that responsibility to the Congress director.
Thank you very much for bringing that up. I think let's listen to Augustine first and then Peter.
Yeah, I think my comment might be inappropriate, but I will say it anyway. I'm probably sitting on a plane. It might be my last comment. With regard to a snake with two heads, it's always confused where to go, which direction to take, whether the left or the right. And to a Congress like this, with a lot of complexities and the decisions, I feel we need one head that will steer the whole thing one direction or the other. That's my first comment. The second comment is, with regard to answer Prof. Park, is that the committee, though you feel like you have been left behind, actually you haven't, because a bulk of work that is ahead is actually big. So if I would put it in a mathematical form, I would probably say less than 1/3 has been done. And what is remaining is actually more than 2/3, meaning the bulk of the work and the decisions to be made are actually ahead. So there shouldn't be a thing of saying maybe you have missed something. I think you will be able to catch up, and much of the decisions are ahead. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you. Peter?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, just to respond to that, the problem we had earlier, and which we attempted to rectify by appointing a conference director, was twofold. Firstly, there was a problem of communication in that it was difficult to understand fully what the NOC had done and was communicating. And also there was a difficulty in the communication from the WSC being understood fully by the NOC. And so we had several meetings where we did not make progress because of those mutual misunderstandings. And so that's a very, very important part of the Congress director's role. But there was a second issue, and that's that things were not being done, and we were not keeping up to date, and deadlines were not being met. And that had created a very difficult situation where progress was not being made satisfactorily. And so it's necessary to have someone who ensures that all the things that have been asked for have been done and that we're keeping up to date. Now, the NOC, and I agree with Augustine that should be one person who should take final responsibility for that the WCSC can relate to. Now, in terms of how the NOC divides up responsibilities for the various committees, for carrying out the instructions of those committees, for implementing all the decisions, that's entirely up to the NOC. And you are obviously free and welcome to organize that internally as you see fit, who actually does each task. But there needs to be a person who ensures that all the boxes have been ticked, and then can go back to the individuals involved and say, like, one obvious example might be, and this will probably come up later, but before we launch the website, we have to have a certain amount of information on it before we do so. One good example with that would be who the main speakers are and their bios and their topics. And so there has to be someone who takes the overall bird's eye view and can go and say, well, look, the WCSC asked for this. We haven't done it yet. Who's going to do it? Can we make sure that it's done by the time of the next meeting? So I think it is more than just, may well be that Joseph is the one overseeing things primarily of the various committees, but there needs someone to make sure that what's been asked for has been done and that it's communicated back, because that was not happening. And we had really reached a crisis point at the last meeting where we had to make a decision about that.
Could I also just encourage Prof that even in the case of East Africa hosting, I think we had Augustine as director and I was the chair. So probably Joseph would be like the chair and you are the director. So I don't think that necessarily those two are in conflict. And I think working together should be the thing. And as Augustine said, even him, I think he was not given that role earlier. He probably just like you have been given. So I don't think there is any loss.
Thank you for your comment, Daniel. Anybody else's comment?
I think that would work well. It's about the partnership and ensuring that things are done. And as I say, the NOC can organize itself as best it sees fit, but as long as we're ensuring that targets are met and that communication is good.
Professor Park, are you happy with that response?
So I'm just gonna speak to, is that okay if I just ask the Korean participants here? If I just ask them in Korean, would that be all right?
Please go ahead.
Yes. 교수님, 지금 이 상황에 대해서는 동의하시는지 이해를 하셨나요?
아니, 코디네이터가 필요하다고 해서 지금 한 거잖아요.
네, 근데 코디네이터를 원하는 게 아닌 것 같아요, 지금. 책임자를 원하는 거예요. 완전한 마지막.
책임자를 원하는 거는 지금 감당할 수 없다고 하는 거 아니지, 지금?
그게, 아니, 제가 감당이라기보다는 지금 제가 지금까지 한 게 없는데, 지금 제가 책임을 지고, 모든 파트별로 이거 했습니까? 이거를 이때까지 해야 됩니다. 이거를 주십시오 하면서 이렇게 명령을 해야 하는
그 역할 하기가 쉽지가 않죠.
쉽지가 않죠. 지금 제가 나이가 제일 어리고 제가 아는 분들도 많이 안 계시는데.
박현민 교수님.
그래서 나는
최원규 교수님, 네.
내가 원한 거는요. 그래서 그 타이틀을 가지시고
네.
우리가 일하는 거를 이해하면서 소통하는 데 주력을 하고
네.
외부에 알리고 하는 건 할 수 있잖아요.
네.
그 역할을 해서 그렇게 해놨는데 지금 저쪽에서 원하는 거는 모든 걸 다 감당을 해라. 그렇게 한다고
그렇죠. 모든 책임을 지금
지라 한다면 나는 좋지. 나는 좋지. 끝까지 하면은 그러면
네.
내가 뭐 내 할 일만 하면 되니까 상관이 없는데 이 사람들은 그걸 이해를 못 하는 거예요. 지금까지 일해온 거를 갖다가 앞으로 할 일도 결정을 지금까지 감각을 가져야 일을 결정할 수 있거든요.
네.
그죠? 근데 그거에 대해서 이분들이 이해를 못하고 완전히 어거스틴이 하던 역할을 한다 그러면 그 PCO 역할까지 좀 해야 돼요.
그러니까요, 교수님.
역할까지 하기 때문에 그래서 나는 그냥 이 대외적으로 일을 하고 우리가 서로 커뮤니케이션에서 했던 장애가 있을 때 그걸 소통을 시켜주는 역할을 하면서 해도 얼마든지 일을 할 수 있거든요. 그래서 나는 그렇게 하길 바라는데 롤 자체가 프리비어스 콩그레스 디렉터는 NOC와 PCO 역할을 다 한 거예요. 이해가 돼요? 근데 지금 PCO 나도 없으니까 내가 그 두 가지 역할을 해온 거지. 두 가지를. 근데 따로 콩그레스 디렉터가 필요하다고 하면 그거를 다 가져오면 난 다 좋고 그렇지만 그걸 할 수 없다고 생각했을 때에는 소통하고 아나운서하고 그렇게 해서 해도 역할은 할 수 있을 거다 이렇게 생각을 해서 우리가 지금 그렇게 짜놓은 거예요. 네.
제가 잠깐 말씀드려도 될까요?
네.
사실 박현미 교수님의 지금 롤을 요구하는 거는 이게 박현미 교수님이 뭐 이걸 다 할 수 없지 않습니까? 우리가 뭐 NOC도 있고 김민환 교수님도 있고 그런데 해가는 일들의 상황을 정확하게 이쪽에다가
전달하고
그리고 또 여기서 원하는 얘기된 것들을 정확히 커뮤니케이션 하는 게 제일 첫 번째 롤이고요. 그리고 물론 그렇게 전달한 거에 대해서 박현미 교수님이 뭐 다 이래라 저래라 하는 건 아니지만은 그 김윤환 교수님하고 같이 이렇게 일을 하셔야 되리라고 생각을 합니다. 그래서 김윤환 교수님하고 NOC하고 일을 해서 그렇게 된 거를 넘겨오게. 그래서 박현미 교수님이 이 NOC 이 스티어링 커미티에서는 그 우리가 얘기된 거를 파이널라이즈해서 레포트하고 여기서 전하고 그 롤을 맡아주길 원하는 게 제일 메인입니다. 박현민 교수님 이해가 혹시 되셨나요?
잠깐만요. 지금 제가 올라가고 있습니다. So I have just been speaking to my Korean colleagues. So it's a formal role that I understood when I was brought in is to be the communicator, the liaison person. But obviously, the role that previously Augustine had in the last ICMDA meeting, that would be a lot more than what I had expected, and would be able to actually perform as a full-time professor at a university. You see, I've had like 4 meetings today, and I doubt that I actually have the time to be able to do that role that is being asked of me. So I'm just wondering what would be the best. I mean, I've just spoken to my Korean colleagues, and what they are saying is they also expected me to do the role of being the language liaison, and I think I will be able to promote it as much as I can within the means that I get given. But doing all the checking the finances part, checking that every single part is being done and all of that, I don't think that is something that I will be physically be able to do. So that's my worry. And my Korean friends, my Korean colleagues here are quite happy to continue doing what they have been doing so far. but it's, yeah, so. I'm
I
very
do.
happy to be the coordinator to convey what is being done, but I don't think I will be the one who will be chasing everybody to do their roles. I'm just gonna go in via the other computer now that I am on
Okay,
site. But you keep talking because I am going to just join you through
good.
another route.
Thank you very much. I do think that is an important distinction. We do need somebody that is the sort of backstop of responsibility at the NOC while that person is negotiating and explaining and coordinating things with the steering committee. So we need to make sure that there is somebody locally who does take responsibility for the bird's eye view and ensures that the things that need to be done are done and are executed in such a way that they become functional or movable. So I'm just using an example now. I see that there is mention of the volunteers and that AFF would be responsible for the volunteer system. Now, that is an important part of how to get the Congress functional. So there needs to be a person who takes responsibility for volunteers who can then liaise or talk to the conference director, and then the conference director liaise and talk to that person about all the things that need to be taken care of and done while the conference is taking place. So we need somebody for that role as well while the Congress is taking place. So it's really somebody who on the NOC takes the full responsibility for the execution of the things that we discuss here. Now, as Peter said, I think it's important to underline that that is something that the NOC should be able to sort out amongst themselves in such a way that it becomes functional.
I can be frank at the moment. So next year,
Please.
the Congress is during term time in Korea. I am still teaching at the university. The term has not yet ended. So I am not 100% sure if I am able to go when it is not even the weekend, when it's during the week. I mean, during the holidays when I don't have to teach, then that's okay. But we are talking about term time. And as you already, I don't know if you know, but the Korean medical education system has been in such an disarray over the last year and a half that we are actually, all our terms have been extended and will be extended to teach medical students who haven't been attending over the last year and a half. So I am in this situation that I am not a retired person. If I was a retired person, I will do everything that you're asking me to do, but I am not. I am a full-time worker. So it is that, and I do not want to kind of commit to something that I cannot deliver. So that is my worry. That my biggest worry is that on site, I will be able to go for a few days, but I'm not sure if I will be able to be there from before it starts until the after it starts, because that is obviously the role of the Congress director. So more than happy to be the communicator via email with all of the parties, to attend all of these meetings when I can attend and get things rolling. But I don't think I can be the person that you are asking me to be.
I think I hear your argument, and I think it's very important for us to be very clear as to our expectations. Peter?
Thanks very much, Hyunmi, for being so clear, and please accept my apologies for, I think there was a kind of misunderstanding with it, but you've made your position very clear. I think if you are able to carry out the role as described here, which is to act as the communicator between the WSC both ways, both ensuring that their requests are understood and then ensuring that they're communicated back as well. I think that will take us a huge step forward and will be really helpful. With regard to the Congress director, I think we're still feeling our way with this. Joseph has been doing this up until now in terms of coordinating things. And just to come back to what Augustine said earlier, when we had the Arusha conference, the early stages that we're going through now, launching the website, agreeing the budget, inviting the speakers, all that sort of stuff, is the easy part. Once we got through to October of that year, so that would be October of this year, we realized that we needed a huge amount more capacity in order to deliver. Now, we know that the AAF is going to do a lot of the stuff in terms of registrations and volunteer coordination that the NOC did not do in Tanzania. And part of the Congress director's role was to ensure that those things were happening. But we did need, in the end, a full-time person working just on conference for 9 months. That was Augustine from October till July. And we also needed, as it turned out, another full-time person in Linda L., who was one of our field workers, who was on staff solely for this for the 3 months beforehand, along with our full-time administrator in Kenya. So there were, in effect, 2.5 or almost 3 people working full-time the last 3 months. So my concern is that people really take on board just how much time this involves, and to ensure that we have the capacity as we get closer to the conference. I think on the basis of what you said, it seems sensible to carry on at the moment with you as a liaison person and communicator. I think that's essential, with Joseph in effect acting as the chairman. But we really just want you to hear this is a massive job, and there is, as the closer you get to the conference, there is an exponential increase in the amount of work that needs to be done. Believe me that inviting speakers and following them up, which is already you're discovering is a very, very tricky business, which takes a huge amount of time. I tell you, that's absolutely nothing compared to dealing with all the correspondence around registration of 1,000 people from over 100 countries, booking all with their individual queries and so on. So it's as I say, I don't think it matters how you organize yourselves to fulfill the tasks. As that's up to the NOC, but it's a matter of just being sure this is a big thing to take on, making sure that everything is taken care of, and that may well be having to employ other people close to the time. I think the role of the Congress director is very much, about communication and delegation. It's certainly the expectation was not that you would be doing things yourself, in weekends and evenings that you don't have on top of all your other full-time responsibilities.
But we certainly don't see ICMDA as a plug and play type of institution that comes to Korea and plugs itself in and can run a conference there. So we do want that responsibility to be taken fully by the NOC.
So next weekend, we will be going on to Jeju. I will be flying there too with the team. So once we are on site, and I think a lot of decisions will be made at that point, which will actually, I will definitely report back to everyone. And once we have a lot of decisions made, it will make us jump into progress a little bit more. So hopefully that will be the turning point where we go forward and we will be able, for example, me, myself, I will be able to be on top of the latest situation to be able to report back to you. But I do agree that so far from what you describe as what the role of a Congress director has been, is Joseph has been doing all that work until now, and he's still doing that.
Yes.
So
We're fully aware of that, and I do think we appreciate what Joseph is doing and how he is doing, and I think we would like that work to continue. And I don't think it's a good idea for us to demand that you step on his toes. But what we are saying is that we need clearer understanding of what is being planned, and we need that interaction with the steering committee that is able to keep the bird's eye view over the whole conference and say, but if we get feedback, we need to actually react to this feedback. We need to do something about the registration process. If people want to register and they encounter a problem, that they come and state to us, but it needs to be taken to the NOC. And so those are the things that we would like to just clarify and sort out. And I think we'll talk about the registration process, hopefully just now as well, because that is an important thing to have clarified before you go live. Yeah. Good. Thank you very much. So I do think if we continue in those roles that you expressed just now, and we hear of your feedback from the visit in Jeju, I think that will take us a large step forward. Can I just come back to the one point? I'm not sure if I understood you correctly, Joseph. When you talked about the MOU, you mentioned that there was the wrong date. But if I look at the MOU that is in the package, the date that has been stated is this MOU will begin on the 1st of March 25 and remain in effect until October 21st, 26. So I'm not sure what the problem was with the bank and this cutoff date.
I think Hannah's.
Yeah, and the previous MOU I find out in the fourth date, because the until October 21st, 2025, it doesn't. It is the wrong year. So ask and Joshi, and I had the new document. I submit that new one, and anyway, Bank of Korea accepts in the new one. So it at this moment no problem, and then they accept and the seed loan of $50,000. But they recommend that you need to act in the service agreement. So actually, I think in the MOU include and I think the service agreement. I think, but in the I'm the chairman of the NOC, but in they are respond in the just KCMDA and the KCMM. So I think they want to actual NOC chairman and ICMDA between the two. It needed to be new active and service agreement. So I think in the including in the MOU, previous MOU, this content in the inside, but just in at the time in the ICM day, between ICM day and the KCM day and the KCMM. You understand?
김윤환 교수님, 제가 하나도 못 알아들었어요. 죄송해요. 저한테 설명해 주세요.
그게 지금 그 용어 자체를 잘 몰라서 그러는데 협약서가 필요하다고 그랬거든요. 따로.
네. 누가요? 누구랑 필요해요?
이거 한국은행에서 협약서가 필요하다고 그래갖고.
누구랑요?
그러니까 ICMD 측하고 이제 우리 측하고 NOC.
네. 네.
그래서 그거를 만들어 와라 해서 냈더니 그냥 가지고 갔는데 사인도 안 한 걸 그냥 받아놓고 ICMD 그 양쪽 간에 MOU 한 거는 그 새로 날짜를 고친 거를 받고 우리가 해준 거예요. 일단은. 근데 이제 앞으로 은행에서 거래은행에서는 이 협약서가 필요할지 않을지는 일단은 생각을 해보겠다 그러는데 이게 필요하면은 이걸 해서 받아놔야 된다는 거죠. 나중에 돈이 들어오잖아요. 등록금. 지금은 론에 대해서 얘기하는 거고.
교수님, 네. 제가 이해를 못하고 있어요. 죄송해요. 그러면 지금 한국은행이 있고 ICMD에서 돈을 보냈는데 거기에서 돈을 보냈는데 이 한국은행이 지금 협약서를 지금 아직 안 쓴 상황이고 그 협약서를 써야 된다 그러면 누구랑 써야 돼요? ICMDA랑 은행이랑?
ICMD하고 나하고 우리
그러면 그거를 아직은 달라고 말을 안 했지만 필요하면 써야 된다 이건 거죠?
그렇죠. 그래서 내가 거기서 간을 내가 보내줬는데
네.
그래서 아직까지 대한 얘기가 없어요. 근데 중요한 거는 뭐냐면
간을 누구한테 보내드렸는데요?
조씨한테
간을 보냈는데 아직 못 받았다. 네, 알겠습니다. 오케이. So I understand now.
Okay.
now. So the bank, the Korean bank, has received some of the funds from the ICMDA. They haven't yet asked for any agreements yet. But if they request one, then there needs to be an agreement signed between the ICMDA and Joseph. Joseph, just in case that agreement may have been needed, has already sent a draft form to Josh, but has not received anything yet. But the bank has not asked for it either. So we are just holding on at the moment because nobody has asked for anything formally yet.
Okay.
이게 맞나요? 교수님, 이게 맞나요?
I just want to clarify the agreement between ICMDA and the NOC is the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding. And that has been signed, and it has been signed correctly with the dates correct. Now, the other document that we will be talking about under 533, the service agreement document, that is a different document that the bank requires in terms of cooperation between the ICMDA and the NOC. Okay. But the bank has not asked that yet, but you expect the bank to ask it.
Yes, that's what I have been told so far.
Okay. And if I understand the document service agreement, then that is an agreement basically that I understand is that ICMDA commits itself to paying for the conference fully up to, I think, $700,000.
이게 맞나요, 교수님?
그 돈의 액수가 70만 70만 US
70만이
달러까지 될지도 몰라서 그렇게 해놨는데 그게 뭐 나도 모르지 뭐 우리가 몇 명이 더 갈지 모르는데 일부는 한국 돈으로도 들어오기 때문에 꼭 그렇지 않은데 그래서 내가 그래서 조금 안에 내용을 조금 바꾸려고 그래요. 그래서 바꿔서 한번 보내고 그 디테일을 왜냐하면은 50만에서 70만으로 이렇게 그 정도가 들어올 거라고 얘기를 하고 들어오는 돈이 한국 돈으로 들어올 거는 거기에 제외가 되고요. 그리고 돈이 들어오는 게 두 가지 형태로 들어오는데 등록금이 들어오고 하나는 펀드 레이징해서 들어오는 돈이 같이 들어와요. 펀드 레이징하는 거. 네.
교수님, 그 50만 원에서 70만 원이라는 액수는 누가 정한 거예요?
아니, 그거는 내가 예상하는 돈이에요.
그러면 그
버젯이
돈을
66만 불이에요.
버짓이 66만 불인데
네.
그게 이제 그 대략 그 정도 되는다 하더라도 너무나 그거는 상관이 없을 것 같아요. 우리가 이 정도 규모로 지금 준비를 하고 있다고 하는 거니까 그거를 해서 그런 양쪽에서 이런 행사를 하기 위해서 그런 돈이 본부처로 들어온 돈을 우리한테 주는 거다. 저야 일을 하니까 그 얘기를 이제 일을 하는 거에 대해서 그 서비스 그걸 해야 된다고 그걸
은행이 그랬어요? 그게 필요하다고.
은행 측에서 한국은행에서 그걸 해놓으라고 그랬어요. 한국은행에서.
So the Korean bank has asked to get the service agreement ready, and the current pricing that they have done, the finances is around $700,000. So there will be two streams for the money to coming in. It's from the registration and also from sponsorship. So Joseph is going to update the form and share it with you. So that is, the bank said, go and prepare it. He hasn't asked for it yet, but he has said, prepare one.
Okay. So we understand that the agreement between the ICMDA and the NOC is that MOU that has been signed and the dates are correct. So at this stage, I want to then move on to 5.3 because we'll actually get to that now, is the budget and actually ensure that we have a flowing budget and a cash flow view of what's happening to the budget as we go ahead. And so can we talk about the budget and then just revise the budget? We've heard about the bank accounts and then come back to the service agreement. I'm not sure, Howard, do you want to speak to the budget? You're still mute, Howard.
Not ready to speak on it just at the moment, if that's okay.
Okay. Peter, do you want to comment on the cash flow of the budget and the spreadsheet that Augustine mentioned?
The budget in the papers is the one we've already agreed, so I think that's just there for our information. The cash flow spreadsheet we mentioned earlier, both Augustine and me, I have, while all the conversation was going on, I found a copy of that from Arusha, and I have circulated that to everyone in this committee by email as in a PDF format. And I put that comment into chat to say I'd done that. So if you could have a look at that, develop something very similar that we could use for reporting back to these meetings, starting with the next one, then that would be really helpful. I think it's fairly self-explanatory, and it just shows all the income and expenditure, and also when we expect payments to have to be made to the conference center, and when we expect registration money to come in, and so on. So yeah,
we will get this done. This is possible. Yeah. We will get this done, and I shall bring it over in the next meeting. I have looked at your email and the attachment, the PDF. There will be something similar for the Korean, and it will be for monthly basis, and we shall report to you. That is possible. You can go
Brilliant. And just to mention again, Howard's 5 points earlier on for reporting, if we can pick those up as well, but that will be in the minutes, I'm sure, from Josh.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I don't have anything to add. As Peter said, this is the budget we agreed in May. It's quite a complicated one, hence the request for the simplification and the monthly report for us as a committee to monitor. But I'm presuming that come September, there will be detailed budget income against expenditure for us all to see. Thank you.
Thank you. Good. Then the next point on the agenda is the bank accounts. I think we have spoken about the bank accounts, and there was clarity and very clear explanation of how the money has been flowing up to now. And I think that are there any questions still in terms of the 3 bank accounts? If not, yeah, Josh.
Can I just clarify about the registration payments? They will be. Are you expecting them to come through the ICMDA Stripe account still? And has that been connected to the registration form? Yes, Han. Yeah, that's clear.
Okay, so the answer to that question is yes, if I understand it. Is that right? Peter?
That's right.
Yeah. Can I just ask a supplementary to that, which is relevant to the next item, 5.3.3? It's my understanding that registrations paid in dollars will come through the ICMDA Stripe facility, but that people coming from Korea who will be paying in won will not be paying through that Stripe facility, but will be paying directly to their Korean accounts. Is that correct? So what follows from that is that when we get to this document for 5.3.3, we need to be very clear that the whole $700,000 is not going to come through ICMDA into the bank account. There'll be different routes by which it comes. Yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Okay, good. Thank you. I think that sets the stage. Sorry, Hedwin, you still had a comment.
Yeah, I just want to ask clarification. What's the different use between Korean bank account 1 and Korean bank account 2?
네, 설명해 주세요. 제가
It's I explained already, but you didn't understand.
교수님 한국말로 해주세요.
오케이. 저기 그 한국 이 통장을 이제 하나는 한국 사람들은 원화로 등록금을 내게끔 돼 있어요. 등록금 내는데 그 등록금 낸 통장에서 돈을 쓸 거를 그 통장에서 바로 써버리면 돈이 들어가고 나가고 해서 얼마큼 들어오는지를 몰라. 너무 쓰고 나가고 막 그 수익과 지출이
이해했어요.
그래서 들어오는 것만 해서 일정 부분으로 쓸 돈만 나가지만 나머지 쓰는 계정에서 얼마를 받아서 우리가 뭐뭐 썼다 이렇게 해야 이게 클리어하지.
네.
이걸 들어가고 나가고 막 해놓으면
알겠습니다. 이해했습니다. So we've got 2 bank accounts because one is to receive all the funds and then we will transfer the money from the receiving end to the spending account. So we will be one for receiving and one for spending, so we know how much money is coming in rather than having it coming in and out.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. That clarifies the issue. Let's then move on to 5.3.3, the service agreement. I understand the document is in the batch of our documents. It's been drawn up. and we need to discuss that. And there are obviously issues around that. Peter mentioned already that it seems that the document basically states that ICMDA will give the surety of paying all the debts for the conference. And I think we need to be very clear that ICMDA cannot do that directly, because the budget of the conference is bigger than, if I can use that word, the assets of the ICMDA. So the ICMDA cannot guarantee to pay that amount in that format. Are there any alternatives or suggestions to change the service agreement? Peter?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Probably the easiest way is just to put it up. So I've had a look at this service agreement, and I understand fully from me and Joseph that the bank has not asked for this yet, but we are simply preparing ahead of time so that when they do ask, we have something to run before them. So it's a good opportunity just to talk about the wording.
Thank you.
The reason we're doing this at all is because the initial MOU, when we signed the initial MOU, we assumed then that the NOC would take all financial responsibility for collecting registrations and so on. It was subsequent to that we learnt that the NOC was unable to do that, and that therefore ICMDA agreed to collect some subscriptions and other payments through our Stripe account, and then to forward those on to the NOC. And so I agree that an extra agreement is needed because the MOU doesn't cover this, and that this is the purpose of this. It's really explaining the way in which ICMDA will send on other money obtained. So I was very happy with the beginning and the extent of service, the contract period. It was just this paragraph that I had concerns about, and I've made a suggested change to it, that instead of specifying that ICMDA will send $700 and we cannot do that for several reasons. Firstly, a lot of the money is coming directly to the NOC and not through ICMDA. Secondly, because it depends on the number of people who come to the conference as to how much comes in. You know, if it's 1,000, that fits the budget, but if it's more than that or less, it will be more or less. So we shouldn't specify it. And thirdly, the ICMDA cannot bankroll the conference or take full responsibility for any debt, as is clearly put out in the MOU. If there is a surplus, it will be shared 3 ways, 50, 25, 25 between ICMDA and the 2 Korean organizations. Or similarly, if there's a deficit, it will be shared 3 ways. So that's already clear in the MOU. So I'm just thinking on my feet here, but I'm suggesting this as a form of words to run by you, that ICMDA shall remit received registration fees and other payments which will be collected through the Stripe credit card accounts in multiple installments to the bank account specified below. So it simply says that the money we receive, we will pass on to you. And that I think should satisfy the bank, because what we're saying is that we're not going to hold on to the money, but we're going to send it out as you require it, so that you're not in a situation where you don't have money to pay the bills to the various groups. Because the initial $50,000, which is a loan from ICMDA, helps you to get started, and we've spent some of that. But as we go on and you're having to make payments to the International Conference Centre and to the, to other providers, then you're going to need a cash flow of money coming from registration fees.
한 선생님, 저도 그렇게 생각합니다. 저도 이게 돈을 굳이 얼마를 딱 액수를 정해가지고 넣는 것보다 그냥 registration fee를 받는 거를 우리한테 넘겨주겠다라고 쓰는 게 더 맞지 않을까요?
네, 맞습니다. 좋습니다. I agree.
Peter, we agree. We agree.
That's good.
And
That's
then
great.
and the one thing is that we have to change on the account name in the 2026 ICMD, not WC. It's just 조직위원회. It is that
It's a technical term.
Korean.
Don't worry, it's just a name that we will change, but we will get that done. But we agree, Peter, with your wording that it is just the registration fees that comes through Stripe through ICMDA will come to the NOC in Korea. That is perfectly good. We will not have any specific numbers. There is no point of numbers.
Yeah, great.
Okay.
The reason I put and other payments.
Okay.
The reason I put that in is just in case, say one of the exhibitors wanted to pay through us rather than through you. It covers that. And among the registration fees, that will include money that we are collecting from the bursary fund as well.
Yeah.
Because we will pay that through as bursaries are allocated.
Yeah.
In the same way. So as long as you're happy, that's great.
Yeah.
And I think what follows on from this is that we need to be very clear when we're required or when you're required as the NOC, you need to be very clear when the ICC will want payments, how much by
we will. I will come back after our visit next weekend. We will come back with all of those answers.
Great. And as long as you put that all in the cash flow thing that we've sent you already, then I think it'll be very, very clear for us, because we want to make sure that there's no delay in us sending the money you need.
Sure. We'll always start with an Excel file.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. Excellent.
But because of thank you very much. I'm very happy to see that this can be resolved quickly and that we understand each other very clearly. So thank you very much for that. I also just want to make sure that we are aware and sensitive to the conversion rate of dollar to a Korean currency, and we take that into consideration when we actually send the money across, because that would make quite a difference. But that we need to be very agile about and see how the Lord leads us.
Yes, because we can't predict the exchange rate.
No.
If you knew that, we will all be rich.
Yes, but in my experience from the past, the Lord has always arranged it in such a manner that it is of benefit to the Congress. Yeah. Good. Thank you very much. The next thing on the agenda is then the speakers. Can I ask, is it Paul, are you giving feedback on the speakers and the progress in terms of speakers?
김민영 교수님 제가 할까요?
Yeah.
Yes. We did the program committee meeting last 3rd of June. Also, our members Peter and Hedwin, Augustine attended our program committee meeting. As we send the file, that's last state Google Excel file. On that, as you know, we already set up that all Bible expository speakers, 2 speakers, Udon and the main Congress. And the plenary section, just 1 speaker is not yet decided. You can see. And then next, streaming, student pre-conference streaming section, or 10 section speakers confirmed. Now remain that pre-conference breakout section and the main conference breakout section. You can see that we already confirmed just 50% of breakout section speakers. It means 20 among 40 session. So 2 is denial, and then not responded just 12 people. And then as I know that so far 6 session we didn't send email yet. That's a student breakout session state. And then the last main conference breakout session, that among 120 session, 49 is confirmed, but half of them is not responded and then missed the mail address right now. So it's a very slow so far. So I asked that additional speakers to the Korean CMF last week, but we are waiting that they'll respond. So yeah, that's a now status of program speakers. Okay.
Thank you very much. We just come back to the main plenary sessions? Yeah, I see plenary session 2, the speaker has not responded yet. Has there been any communication with the speaker or not? I mean, response. Is there absolutely no response, or has there been some communication?
As I know, no response. But yeah.
All right. I could offer to nudge him to respond if that is okay with you. I know him on a personal level, and I'm happy to remind and nudge him. Okay. Good. Then I shall do that. Any other questions to the speakers? Are we happy with the progress?
Yeah, through you.
Yes.
I saw in the breakout, they said I had not responded, and I thought I had responded. One of the speakers is called Daniel Ojuka, and I thought he had responded.
Oh, really?
Okay. Good. So let us continue to follow that up. Thank you very much. I did confirm my slot, says Howard. Good. Thank you very much. So it does seem like there is progress. And I personally just want to make the comment and say we've taken a big bite with the breakout sessions. And if we don't have all the parallel breakout sessions running at the same time, but have a few less because the speakers are not available or we haven't found other speakers, then that is also okay. I don't think we need to push ourselves to having that large amount of breakout sessions necessarily. We need to decide what would be good for us. Yeah. Good. Thank you very much. I just see the one point that Daniel has made in the chat. He asked the question, is there any cost to withdrawing and from the one account, Korean account, to the other Korean account? Will there be a lot of banking costs involved there?
I don't think so.
No, there is no within bank transfers between two Korean accounts. There is no charge.
No charge.
Thank you, Daniel. That answers your question. Good. Thank you very much. Then we move on to the website. Who do I hand over for the latest development on the website? Not yet.
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Now. Oops, your sharing went away.
Yes.
Group.
한 선생님, 이거를 누가 답을 해줄까요? 24시간? 네, 맞아요. 그런데 여기에서 누가 이렇게 비행기를 잘못하고 뭐 어디에서 지금 길을 잃었고 이런 거에 대해서 여기에다가 그 사람이 뭐를 올리면 그 답은 누가 해주나요? 진행팀이 누구일 거예요? 이거를 계속 같이 이걸 해주는 이렇게 담당자가 누구일까요? 네. 그게 지금 정해져 있나요? 사람 이름이 지금 정해져 있나요? 네, 그러면 괜찮아요. 네, 네, 알겠습니다. So it seems that everybody will be, there will be people in charge of those each individual groups. And but it seems that from previous experience that actually people who are involved already in those groups actually help each other, but there will be a person, and there's already a person who is in charge of each of these groups. What I will do is that I will make sure that we have a named person for each one of these groups, who will be able to, who we can actually be accountable for, really. And
Who
they
would
can
basically answer questions if they
yes,
arise from the
questions.
group.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
this would replace a sort of frequently asked questions type of thing.
I think we will definitely have a few that are very frequently asked. I mean, I have been to other conferences that there are some questions of how do I get here? How do I get there? And I think those expected questions, we will have them there already so people can look at them. But then any other questions that they want to kind of faster answers, I think the WhatsApp group will be a good idea. I can see here from Josh that the Gmail address should be changed to the official address. Do we have an official address, and who is? And I know I am here, the woman, but who is going to be manning that email address, the official one? I think my question is to Josh. Yeah, we will have another prayer group on that, on one of those in the list that we are seeing here. So, Josh, you said that the icmda.net, so Jeju 2026 at icmda.net, who is going to be looking at, how do we access this?
Currently, Han, Joseph, Dae Young, Paul, and Hedwin all have access to that account.
So, are we
It's a
going to
shared-
just use this one for everyone?
That should be the one that has been set up especially for the Congress, and it's a shared mailbox, so they can all see and all respond to that. But you're right, we need someone who will be the person who responds, and that
Yeah.
was the role of someone like an Augustine or a Lindael and Arusha. So this will be very, very busy the closer we get to the Congress. So
I
we
know.
need someone, yeah.
We need somebody full time who can actually just deal with these emails and
Yeah.
okay,
So
good.
I can give access to whoever that person is on your committee.
That's fine. We shall discuss that at the NOC and make sure that we have a person who is going to be in charge and is multilingual. All right, thank you.
Good. Thank you very much.
I actually had an online meeting with the person who is like sorting the website out, and we went through every single tab to make sure that it worked and all the links were working. So it's actually been updated quite significantly, and with the NOC has been online checking all the links, and it has been updated. And I think he's really nearly ready at the moment. We just need to make sure that we sort out about the date of the bursary and the early bird before we can put that online. I have seen a lot of the websites are only in Korean, but if you are using a Chrome and with the language tab, it will just translate it for you. It won't be 100% perfect, but it will be quite helpful. 한 교수님, 이것까지 다 안 보여드려도 될 것 같아요. 아니요, 없어도 괜찮을 것 같아요. Is there anything else on the website that you need explanation for?
Josh, your comments, and Peter, and then Josh. Yeah.
So I'm just looking at the payment page for registrations. It's still in test mode via Stripe. So I assume you'll be ready for that to go into actually receiving the funds when it's ready to launch. Do you have a date when the website will be ready for registrations?
우리가 언제 라이브 갈 건가요, 한 선생님? 그러니까 언제 우리 날짜가 있나요, 혹시? 우리 제주도 갔다 와서 할까요? 오늘? 아, 아니 근데 웹사이트가 지금 가 아니잖아요. 그러니까 연결을 해주면 되니까요. 우리가 정하면 돼요. So the decision, if you 근데
한국 사람들이 얼마나 돈을 내야 될 건지도 결정을 해서 저쪽에다 알리고
네.
그 돈이 우리가 적당한 가격으로 왜냐하면 이제 너무 오르락내락해서 지난번에는 1,450원을 맞췄다가
네.
1,400원을 했다가 지금 1,350원대거든요.
아, 근데요, 지금 질문은 날짜예요, 날짜. 언제 우리가
아니, 이걸 하는데 한국 사람이 지불할 돈도 같이 정해져야 같이 하는 거거든요. 그래서 그 날짜를 맞춰야 될 것 같아요.
지금 환율로 맞추면 될 것 같은데요.
네, 그냥 맞추면 될 것 같은데요.
네. 그러면은 일단 날짜를 제가 생각하기에는 우리 갔다 온 다음에 하는 게 좋을 것 같아요.
그러니까요. 예. So after Jeju visit the next weekend, straight after we will go live. So do you want a specific date? Because we will be back on the Saturday. So we're going on Friday and Saturday. So we will be back. So we can say Monday, the 30th of June. That will make us work towards a deadline.
From my side, that would be great.
Perfect.
Peter, your comments?
Your microphone, Peter.
You're still mute? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I had a look through the website this morning, and it's good to see progress. But I think there's a lot more information that needs to be on it before it goes live. And just clicking through the various tabs. For example, there is nothing on the speakers tab at all to say who the speakers are and we should at least have the main plenary speakers and Bible readers up for the conferences.
Yeah, we will get that done before the 30th.
The committee tab, it doesn't have anyone. It's a picture of Joseph, but nobody else on the committee is there.
Yeah.
The venue tab, there's no information yet.
Yeah.
The travel information tab, there's no information. And also the FAQs, there's no information there. So we need to have a lot more. I appreciate it's a work in progress, but we need to have a lot more information up there, because the thing is, if you don't, then people will start going, and then when they find they haven't got the information, they will bury you in questions through the website. And you don't want to be in the situation where you're having to answer things that could easily be on the website. Also, people won't commit themselves until they know, for example, about the venue or who the speakers are or the travel and so on. So I just think there needs to be a lot more work done on it before it goes live.
Sure. Get that noted. Thank you.
And if
I'd like to suggest one thing, important thing, and we are two accommodation free. One is the Buyong Youth Hostel, another one Yongsan Jeju Youth Hostel. Yongsan Jeju Youth Hostel and allocated for the family, including children. But then there is some problem. So far we visit many times, but then the managers too uncooperative, unfriendly. So we are some changing. We are changing in another new hotel near convention center. So this coming Jeju visit, so we will review and finally and Yongsan Jeju Youth Hostel and another new hotel. So new hotel is a little bit expensive than a youth hostel, but in the near location, that is the better to make it in the shuttle bus, etc. So many things in the advantage. So near little bit in the expensive, but in the shorter the distance, and so facility is a little bit in the some problem, but we make it the more environment in the near other facility hotel. So we need to change and one useful hostel. Okay.
Peter, the date for the upcoming Jeju visit is this coming weekend. So that's
It's the following weekend.
So the following weekend.
The following weekend is the 28th and 29th. Yes.
29th of June.
27 and 29.
27, 28, Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Joseph, I just want to make clear with you that the new hotel that is being looked at, that is still for the free accommodation for the people who register.
Yeah, that is still the same. That is same. Yeah.
So it still remains free for the participants.
Yeah.
And there is a section on the ICMDA webpage where they can go in and look at other accommodation where they have to take charge of payment.
Yeah, just change in the name of hotel. It's a become a hotel, not youth hostel.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you very much. Any other questions around the webpage? If not, then I think, Hunda?
That for people, the advisory, the bursary fund, they have to pay the conference registration fee first. But we also said they will not get 100% bursary waiving all the money. So, and in case someone who didn't get 100% and then decide they can afford it, do you still need to have a 10% penalty for canceling?
I'm not sure if I got the question.
I mean, you ask the bursary applicant to pay the registration fee in full first. And then you also mentioned that your application shall not get 100% registration fee back. But what if someone who didn't get 100%, for example, they get 80%, and they decide that they are not affordable to go, then they decide to cancel registration. But this from the canceling policy, will they get 10% non-refundable, or it's okay if they are applicant of bursary, then if they cancel, will not have some refund deduction?
네, 한 선생님, 그거는 다 알고요. 알고 있는데요. Herdeng, I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying that if people have paid expecting a bursary and unable to pay themselves, that if they don't get the bursary, then they will have to pay the 10% if they can't attend. Is that your question, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So this is actually going up back to Peter and Augustine, because comes back to the discussion that we've been having on via email, is that if people are going to go and register expecting to get the bursary and they don't get it, then they won't be able to afford it, and then they will have to cancel, and there is a cancelling fee of a minimum of 10%. So do they just have to fork that out? This question is for Peter or Augustine.
Yeah.
No, I think just on this, you've got a paper in your file which is proposing dates for the finalising of the early bird and the allocating of bursaries, and that is an ongoing discussion. So Hyunmi and I have been discussing it. We've been involving Augustine, but Augustine's been in Uganda and not able to answer emails. And Hedwin was also asking about it this morning as well. I would suggest that this is a discussion you allow us to be able to have offline and then come back to you rather than trying to resolve it now. It's quite a complex issue. And I think it's for Hyunmi and I and Augustine and Hedwin could come back with a recommendation. But the problem we're facing is that last time we had a closing date for Super Early Bird of the 31st of December, but we didn't allocate bursaries until the end of February. And so it left a 2-month gap where people were wondering, do they pay or not? Will they get a bursary or not? So that whole thing needs to be thought through more clearly. And I don't think now is the time to do it because we don't have a clear proposal yet. Now that Augustine is back, I think we can take this forward outside the committee and then come back to you.
Good. I see Augustine has got his hand up. Do you want to comment on this point, Augustine?
Yeah, I think just briefly to raise I agree with Peter. This is not the appropriate forum to discuss that because of lengthy discussion. But having said that, I must say the reason why people drop out of the bursaries is because they cannot afford either a flight or accommodation. And I don't think they will afford 10%. What we did in Arusha was there was a waiting list and we numbered the people. We asked the national organization to put number 1, number 2, number 3, until whatever number. And should any person drops out of the previous number, we just take the next person on the queue. And that's worked out to be very, very well because then we just get the next person. Now, should we not have any person quickly, the people in a region should be the first beneficiary because they will require less than the people who are coming from afar. And I suspect in the circumstances that we have, where it will be very expensive to fly to Jeju, I suspect there will be a lot of people who might drop out. So we need to have a mechanism of accommodating the people who will drop out and what should be quickly a policy. And that could be, 1, we take the next person on the list in that particular country. 2nd, to take a person from the region. That's my suggestion at this stage while we are continuing the discussion behind the scenes. Sorry about my disconnection. I was on a flight. I've just landed in Durban. Thank you.
Thank you. Daniel?
I was just going to ask for clarification on the cancellation bit. I hope I didn't hear it wrong. I thought the cancellation is about refund. So if I had registered depending on the timing of my cancellation, that the refund I get would either be 10%, 20%, or something like that. It's not that I take money from my pocket and pay because I have cancelled. I hope that is the understanding I had, because I thought like Prof was saying like somebody takes money from his pocket. So I just wanted a clarification.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's the way it's understood. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Then we agree with all the changes that have been suggested, that our date for trying to get alive with a website will be the 30th of June, with the new changes of the weekend visit that need to be made, or updates. Are we all happy with that decision? I see heads knocking. Thank you very much. Then we move on to the program. We have spoken about the program. Is there anything that needs to be added to the point program? Paul?
Yeah, I don't think so. We don't have any change in date.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I see that the new program is on the web page, and the one where we want to make sure that the pre-conference and the streams before, that they all join in the worship together. So I think that is good, and it is reflected as such on the new program. I just wanted to clarify one thing somewhere. I can't remember where. I read the question about the student pre-conference, whether it's just for students. We have generally accepted young doctors, and we usually say young doctors are the doctors who have qualified in the last 5 years. So the pre-conference is mainly for students and young doctors. So that's how we have usually had it in the past. It started off as just a student conference, but we add junior doctors to that as well at this stage. Okay. Promotion and publicity, any questions or any report back there?
교수님 혹시 더 이야기할 거 있나요? 이런 프로모션에 대해서?
없어요. 없어요. 그래서 태국에 갈 수 있는 사람이 있으면 좋겠는데 그 태국에 갈 사람이 지금 마땅치가 않아서 혹시 네, 폴. 네.
폴?
제가 갈 겁니다.
거기에 대해서 설명을 좀 해주시죠. 잠깐.
제가 뭐 설명할 건 별로 없는데.
아니 거기 어디 간다고 얘기를 하셔야지.
Well, here is a headwind. The headwind invited one of our CMF, KCMF member to participate the Southeast Asia medical mission conference in July, Bangkok. So yeah, I plan to join there, and then I'm gonna promote that ICMDA 2026. Yes, that's up to you.
If you come, we will give you the chance to speak in plenary about that.
Thank you, Hedon, for facilitating that. And I think once the webpage is up, we will advertise it via all the means, and I think people will go to the webpage, but then there must be a mechanism that we can actually direct questions to if people have questions like we've mentioned before. So that mechanism must be clearly opened and reacted to very rapidly. Otherwise, we going to create problems for ourselves. Okay, thank you. The next point, 5.8, is accommodation. We have spoken about the accommodation, the change in accommodation. I still remember from our very early discussions that accommodation was only able to be booked a year ahead. So I assume this weekend's visit, or in 2 weeks' time, the weekend's visit will actually finalize those contracts as well with the ICC.
That's the plan that we're going to go. We're going to also taste the menus or choose the menus and go and visit the venue. Yeah, that's the plan of the visit.
Great. Thank you very much. And it's nice to then know that that will be confirmed with the NOC and the local accommodation people. That's great. Thank you very much. And we are happy that that is moving forward. We've already spoken about exhibitions and sponsorship. Is there anything else that needs to be said about that? It seems like there's a clear planning in terms of different stratifying the exhibitions in different ways, and I assume that you expect people to respond to that in those different categories.
Can I share my files I submit already?
Yes. Josh, is it possible to give you the rights to share, or can everybody share?
Can you share?
Share screen. Yes, everyone can share screen.
Yeah, I lost.
교수님, 뭘 해드릴까요? 제가 가지고 있는데 뭘 하고 싶으세요?
전시 관련해서 얘기한 게 좀 있을 텐데, 전시하고 그다음에 컨퍼런스 액티비티 2개 다 필요한데.
그러면 보내주신 것들 중에 있겠죠?
Yeah.
I have all of the things that he sent me, so let me just have a look.
Okay.
Because he's unable to do so. 교수님이 보내주신 것들 중에
맨 마지막에 있을 텐데. 내가 그걸 가지고 있질 않아 지금.
회의 안내, 9차 회의 안내에 들어가 있어요?
아니, 따로 저 PPT 파일로 보내했거든요.
네, 투어 상품?
예.
네, 투어 상품 있고, 그 다음에 pre-post conference 투어.
네, 그것도 두 개 다 꺼내줘 볼래?
네, 알겠습니다.
그 스폰서 하는 것도 하나 집어넣었을 때, 스폰서.
네.
저기,
그거는 타이틀이 뭘까요? 스폰서라는 거는 안 보여요.
그거 있었는데. 내가 컴퓨터를 막 옮기다 보니까 가져오질 않아갖고.
투어 상품 안내랑 PPT는 PDF의 투어 상품 안내랑 pre-post conference PPT밖에 없어요.
일단 뭐라도 일단
네. So I'm gonna share his email, what he had sent already on his email. So let's have a look. This is it. It seems.
Yeah. I'm sorry about it. I couldn't prepare in this computer. So this is the purpose of travel, and next one, and program. You can see a program. You can find out in the commercial local tour program in the yehatour.com. You can find out in the 1 day and half day tour in Jeju Island. If further, it just visitor in Jeju, and then another 2 different thing at the post conference. It is possible, and tour company pre and the post conference tour is available, but in the just post conference tour. This is only for the Jeju Island. but in the inland visa holders, so we make it in the post-conference tour. And this is the name of the exploring medical missionary who served in Korea and the historical medical mission site. It's a big difference. This is the local and modern university hospital and the general hospital. They have some chance to introduction to Korea's medical system and the modern hospital facilities. It's just Jeju Island only. But anyway, the next one, please. How to travel? That is the we have to make it endeavor and how to make it in the tour. So next one. So we need to many helpers.
교수님 아까 방금 무슨 말 하셨는지 제가 못 알아들었어요.
이거 how to travel? 이게 just
선생님 한국말로 해주세요.
이거 한국 사람을 아니. 이거는 지금 어떻게 준비를 해야 되는지에 대한 거를 좀 뭘 얘기한 거예요.
그러니까, 근데 how to travel이 무슨 뜻이에요?
뭐가?
how to travel 이 지금 페이지 자체가 무슨 뜻이에요?
그러니까 여행하는 방법을 이제 만들려고 지금 사람들하고 이제 이걸 해야 된다는 거니까 이거는 중요한 사항은 아니에요. 그냥 넘어가도 돼요. 네.
아니 그래도 설명을 해야 되니까 이게 지금
이게 왜 로컬 하스피털 가이드를 하려면 사람을 찾아야 되잖아.
네. So we are going to
볼런티어가 필요하다는 거예요.
So we are going to get volunteers on to facilitate the travels that we've just talked about in this previous page.
Right.
Yeah, it's just local Jeju Island travel, 1 day tour and then half day tour. It is cheaper, less than $100. Yep. This is the Korean medical tour in Jeju, and then modern general hospital, Jeju City, and this is the National Hospital, National University Hospital. Yeah.
교수님, 이런 거는 어떻게 사람들이 여기에 자기가 이렇게 가겠다고 할 수 있어요?
이게 우리가 오가나이제이션 해야 돼요. 그 영어 협조를 받아서.
그런데 그러면 사람들이 내가 이거 가고 싶어요라는 거는 어디에다가 자기가 이거를
이제 아나운서 이제 할 거예요. 이제 이게 셋업이 되어야 할 건데 이게 아직은 계획이기 때문에 이런 것들을 계획을 해서 하게 되면 알릴 거예요. 아직은 그게 안 돼 있고.
그러니까 알려가지고 사람들이 이거를 내가 가겠습니다 하는 거를 등록은 어떻게 할 거예요?
그거는 나중에 우리가 아나운서 해야죠. 이게 셋업이 되어야 하는 거니까 지금 계획만 세워놓은 거예요. 사람들만 만나고 있어요. 네.
So these are things that are not set in stone yet. We are planned on the way. We will have to liaise with the local churches and local hospitals to make sure that this is possible. And once we have that confirmation, we will have a link on for people who can then register themselves to come onto these tours.
Yes, that would be very great. I think it's a nice and it's a good way of explaining the different tours and what people can do and choose to do. I think that's great. I think we'll have to weigh it up as to, how much we can deliver and then advertise it and see how people react to that and how many actually react and how many actually want to do those visits.
I suppose the paid for tours are possible, so we can advertise for those on the website if it's needed to be. For the other ones, we can just write down as potential ones, and we will update you as needed. And once we have got confirmation, we will have a link for people to be able to register themselves, maybe through a Google link or through a QR code or whatever we can find is most suitable. We will have to have a cap in number, so it will be a first come first served basis. So and there is another one is in the mainland. So in Korea, in South Korea, for those who have visa holders and want to come. I mean, we do this. I have This we do quite frequently for the local Christian doctors. So I know that this is quite a nice tour to do as well. So this is also another one that I think Joseph is trying to organize and get it done. And we will have all of this information on the website as soon as we get it confirmed. But even without confirmation, can put it up as potential tours.
Yes, and ask for people who might be interested, and then get a list of those who might be interested and see.
That would be a good idea. I think if we could just have, are you interested, without confirming, so we at least know how many people are interested, so we can make sure. We shall make that happen. Yeah, thank you. And then this is different. Jesus Hospital, this is where Joseph is working, and this is a tour. I'm sure this will definitely be able to happen as he's working there. And then Gwangju Kidokbyeongon, and I know I am going to go. I think Dr. Han and I are going to go down in September to do a saline course down here. So I think I don't think it will be much very difficult to get organized if possible. And then we have another course in University Hospital in Busan. So there's quite a lot of places to go. And I think I agree with Chairman in getting maybe some sort of like button, so people are, if they're interested, they can. We can see if we can make that happen. And this is all the other ones that we can get that. Okay, thank you. And then.
Thank you for detailing that. I think it's good to see that in detail and let people use it as an appetizer.
Yeah, sure.
Good. Thank you very much. In terms of the agenda, we are finished. Is there anything else that needs to be mentioned that we've forgotten? Anything other business? Henda?
Yeah, I think the only uncertainty is that when with the term date for Korean Medical School 2026 in summer, I checked Seoul National University. Most of the time, the summer break started on June 25 or June 24 this year. But if there's extension and perhaps, for example, 100 medical students in Korea, they suddenly know they have to have some conflict with the conference, then they might have to cancel. And again, if this kind of inevitable situation because of the late knowledge about the extension of the term date, how we're going to deal with it.
The thing is that I think we might know a bit better once in September. In September, we will hopefully get the students back. We are not sure because the elections have only just happened. So we haven't got a proper governmental discussion with the medical team yet happening. And the healthcare reforms, the ill-fated healthcare reforms that started last year have not been resolved yet, which is why the students are not back. So it depends on how the terms are they going to be expanded to accommodate the years lost. We don't know yet. So I think I might be able to answer that question in September, but not yet.
But it certainly is a reason for us to continue to pray for the situation and that it would be resolved.
Yes, because I want to go for the whole week too. I want to go.
Yes, good. Thank you very much. So the next point on the agenda is the date of the next meeting. There's been a suggestion of the 21st of July. Would that suit everybody? 21st of July. Okay, good. Then let's take that as given, same time, 21st of July. I'd like to thank you very much for your attention, for your discussion, for your communication, and for the active inputs that we've had during this meeting. I think it's been good. It's taken us forward, and I'm looking forward to the next meeting to see the progress again. Thank you very much for spending your time on this call and for giving your input. Somebody who's been very quiet is Henda. Can I ask you to close in prayer for us?
Dear God, we thank you for gathering us to serve you in this World Congress Steering Committee. Especially want to thank the local national organizing committee and Dr. Park to join. We know that they had a lot of work and also a lot of uncertainty about whether they get a hotel, whether the student can come without conflict with their term extension, and also how they find an extra pair of hands to serve as a director of the conference in tidying up all the detail. But we trust this in your hand because every time we certainly go through all this uncertainty, but at the end, we just pray. We just praise you that you are almighty. You saw everything out of our expectation. So strengthen us and that we have faith in you because you are the God in charge. We thank you for the leading of the discussion, and we would like to see all this become a great blessing to everyone join the meeting. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody again, and all the best for the visit in Jeju in 2 weeks' time. We will be praying.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.